so many people take their symptoms and think that they're normal because they've been experiencing them for years. Other people around them are experiencing them as well. And we're talking a lot of bloating and, gastro type issues, even joints and aches and pains and that brain fog and the fatigue and the inability to lose weight for women, especially around the belly. We shouldn't take any of those, and just excuse them and blame it on our age, right? It's like whatever symptom you are feeling, let's get to the root cause. And that's what we hope that this podcast does every single week when we drop episodes.
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm Stephanie May Potter, and I'm here with my co-host, Marnie Marmette.
We created the Art of Living Well podcast to empower you to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life. Each week, we will bring you inspiring and motivating conversations covering health and wellness topics, including fitness, mindset, food, travel, product reviews, and strategies from a variety of experts, including our own bank of knowledge.
We are excited to educate, motivate, and inspire you to change the way you perceive health and discover your art of living well. Get ready to feel inspired.
Hello, and welcome back to the Art of Living Well podcast. Marnie and I are so excited to be here with you today, talking about what we feel is a pretty relevant topic for a lot of people. Just identifying the fact that your issues are not necessarily age appropriate. And we're going to dive into that today. But before, I just thought we would chat and see what's new with Marnie and share, because we haven't been on just the two of us talking in a little while. So Marnie, what's going on? It's February 1st now. So January, which is normally the coldest month in Minnesota, is behind us.
Well, I would say that the last 2 weeks, in all honesty, have been pretty stressful for me. And I've been really trying to compartmentalize my stress and work through it because things are there's been a lot going on. I've had stress around my daughter in college. She went through Rush, which I was like, I am not going to get involved. I'm not going to get stressed. I'm going to let her do her thing. She needs to follow her own heart. And I was really, really good about it. But then when the cuts come, it's hard. And so she handled it really well. But I would say the last 48 hours were incredibly stressful for her and then for me. And it ended up all working out, which is fantastic. And that's just a great lesson to me. Like, first of all, it was completely out of my control. My feeling stressed because she felt stressed did nothing for any of us. So I guess it was a good lesson. And then, she's had some other medical issues, and it's really hard to have her at school. And I'm here and I'm not in the meetings with the doctor and I'm not there. And so it's just been hard and lots of phone calls, and I'm going away with my girlfriends really soon. And I'm super excited about that, just to get away for a few days and relax and laugh and be lighthearted and have fun. So that's what's going on with me. What about you, Stephanie?
Well, first of all, Marnie, I can only imagine my oldest is yet to go to college. Next year he will be there, but just being away and trying to navigate through that when you can't do a lot. And, the whole rush thing, I've heard a lot of stories about that, and it is very stressful for the parents. But I love what you said about control and just kind of releasing control, which gets back to that episode that we shared not that long ago. So, good for you for managing your stress, because honestly, guys, I didn't even know half this stuff was going on until we started recording. So Marnie has done a really good job of compartmentalizing the stress.
I may have bit your head off a few times in the last 2 weeks, but I have apologized.
I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far. So what's new with me? So, I will say the one thing in January that I did and didn't do that's been really good is, one, I got a sauna for Christmas from my husband, and I've really been enjoying it. It's this portable sauna. It's TheraSage. And I was kind of skeptical, like, is this going to work as well as a real sauna? And it wasn't in the cards for us to do one in our home, like a permanent one. And I've been really enjoying it. I've been doing it at least 3 times a week. You definitely got to plan around your shower and all that good stuff. But I've either been reading or I've been watching shows, and I'm not good about keeping up with the latest shows. So I'm on White Lotus. For all of you out there, probably already watched it. I'm on season 2 now, but that's been just kind of fun because it's just brainless. It's not me like listening to a podcast or reading, a book that's on health and wellness or something like that, which I love to do, but sometimes we just need to like tune our brains out. So I'm sweating, I'm removing the toxins and watching some, mindless shows, which is great for me. That's something I need to do. And then also I am doing dry January, which I know we've talked about before. You've done this and I feel really good. And I'm, it's interesting. I did it last year for probably like 98% of the days in January. And this year I'm just embracing it. And I actually, it kind of coincides with the detox, which is nice because you're not drinking then anyway. But I'm not like, oh, the detox for me ends, for this Friday night. And I'm not like, oh my gosh, on Saturday, I want to have a glass of wine or something. I'm just like, okay, we'll go out the rest of the month. And it does really impact my sleep. Like my sleep has been really good this month. So I don't know if it's between the detox, I'm sauning, not drinking. I don't know what it is, but
you're toxin free.
I am.
That's amazing, Stephanie.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you got a sauna because I know you've been wanting one for such a long time. And I find it to be one of the most relaxing things that I do for myself in the course of a week. So I'm so happy you're getting to experience that as well.
And I'm hoping the rest of my family may join. We'll see.
Yeah.
My husband's done it a couple times. John has.
And what did he think?
Oh, he liked it. I think he took a call one time and he's like, I ended up being in there a lot longer than I thought because he was like on the call for work.
That's really funny.
So I don't know if it's quite as relaxing for him, but he has done it a few times. So
and the dry January thing too. Like I'm also doing 3 weeks of dry January, and I do think there's something to be said for like stepping away from alcohol, even if you're not like a big drinker and you're drinking occasionally. Like you do feel the difference in your body, and like you said, it could be the combination with the detox. But it's funny because I've been inviting friends over for a detox dinner and a no alcohol dinner on the weekends because Jordan and I have been detoxing for 2 weeks.
Right.
And we still want to see friends. And I wasn't sure how different friends would respond to that because they're not doing dry January or detoxing. Yeah. And they were all like, oh, I'm so excited to come try the food. And of course I don't need to drink or whatever. And I'm like, I don't care if you do drink, like you can drink, we're just not drinking.
Yeah.
But nobody was interested in drinking, and they were all like very excited about eating these, delicious, nourishing meals that we made. So,
and I saw pictures of them and the food looked amazing. And I think that's what's part of the aha for the detox is people hear the word detox and think I'm going to be eating like, either just basic, boring food or just like raw vegetables. And no, there's like amazing whole food dinners that you can cook. And I mean, we're not going to get into all that right now, but just the point that you can serve this meal and have something in meal be non-alcoholic and still have fun and enjoy yourself. And I actually went to a local store here called Marigold and bought a few non-alcoholic, products. So there's like a tequila, and I haven't done it because of the detox, but this weekend I'm going to try it. And I tasted it in the store and it was really good. And I bought my husband a few beers that are non-alcoholic, like IPAs and like, these other fancy beers, I call them. And I'm really excited to try those products off detox too, because sometimes you just want a drink, but you don't want to feel the effects of the alcohol the next day. So yeah.
That's super cool. So I think we should dive into our topic today, which I'm really excited about because I hear people saying to me all the time, oh, I'm having this issue because I'm 50 years old, or I'm so old and this is just normal to have X, Y, and Z. And yes, our bodies absolutely change as we get older, right? But that doesn't mean you can blame all of your issues or medical problems or whatever it is on your age.
And I think the other thing too is people just use it as like a cop-out, like, oh, I just have this belly fat, and I'm not talking about body image, right? But I just have this extra weight because I turned 40 and there's nothing I can do about it. And it's just sort of like the pattern. And this is what happened to my mom or my friends. And they just like kind of use it as a cop-out to actually try and make some changes or try to explore what's going on. But then, you know, I think, Marnie, you and I follow people who are well into their 60s or 70s and are doing things to help their body thrive. And they not only look physically amazing, but they are like active and doing things well into their 70s or 80s or beyond. And that's what I think we want to talk about here too, from like a longevity standpoint. If you look out, you know, 10, 20, 30 years, depending on where you are today, what do you want to be doing? How do you want to feel? And if you want to be active and you want to be mobile and be able to like go on vacations, active vacations with your grandkids, then what can you do now? What can you do today to help ensure that you get there? Obviously, there's no guarantees in life, right?
And friends, like actually your lifestyle choices make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you turn 50 or 60 or 70 doesn't mean you should think to yourself, oh, there's no use. There's no use. I'm going to give up now. Even if it's walking every day, like you're like thinking about, like Stephanie said, how you want to live your life in the future, your longevity, and what are these choices that you can make today so that you feel amazing as you age.
And I want to just have a shout out to one of our detox alumni, and I won't use her name. At some point, maybe we'll bring her on the show. She was actually a former one-on-one client of mine, and she lives with her grandkids. She wants to be active. She was in her like late 50s. This was a couple of years ago now. She's been doing our detox. She has lost weight. She has changed habits. She has added foods that she never thought she would add. She's actually like purchasing really healthy foods now for her family, for her daughter, her son-in-law, and her grandkids who she lives with. And she feels amazing. And she does this detox with us 3 times a year. And she has very specific goals about like, I want to get to 60 and I want to be still active. And she is doing these bar classes. The other morning at 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday, I was at a bar class and she was there. And she's got like some big, like, 500 class, recognition because she's been doing all these. And she feels better now than she ever has in her entire life. So just a shout out because
and
it is.
I was just going to say, and when you talk to her, she's so content and lighthearted, and you can feel her, like how vibrant she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire her so much.
So I guess, we're curious to know what you guys are kind of going through and experiencing too. Like, do you feel like you're approaching, whether it's 40 or 50 or 60, and things aren't working the way that you thought they were? And there can be very valid reasons, but part of what Marnie and I do are help get to the root cause of those issues. So by running tests, by making lifestyle choices, by maybe supplementation, for people. And Marnie brought up a good point with lifestyle. Part of that is who you hang around, who you hang out with. And thinking about the blue zones and those communities, there are these communities out there where they're the most centenarians, and they have strong relationships with friends and family, and spirituality is important, whatever that means for them. So there are, ways to modify your life so that you can live longer and healthier and just more vibrant. And it's not all about the food either.
And now a quick shout out to our sponsor, Organifi. Organifi is a line of organic superfood blends that offers plant-based nutrition made with high-quality ingredients. Each Organifi blend is science-backed to craft the most effective doses with ingredients that are organic and free of fillers and contain less than 3 grams of sugar per serving.
I discovered Organifi about 3 years ago and fell in love with the gold chocolate blend, which I enjoy in the evenings. I love that it contains ashwagandha, which reduces stress and supports a healthy cortisol level. And it really gives me that fix when I want something chocolatey or sweet in the evening. And it's perfect and nice and calming before bed.
And I'm really enjoying the Organifi green juice, which has a ton of superfoods in it. And it's so much easier than juicing. And it's also great if you struggle to get your greens in. Each Organifi blend is easy to use by simply mixing it with water. It's great on the go, and there's no compromise in quality for taste.
Organifi takes great pride in offering the best tasting superfood products on the market at a price less than $3 a day. You can experience Organifi's high quality superfoods too by heading over to Organifi.com/livingwell. That's ORGANIFI.com/livingwell, and use our code livingwell for 20% off your entire order.
Right? The community piece is so important, and just having humor and laughter in your life, and, making those relationships solid so that you feel supported in your life. And maybe that means taking a walk with a friend, or picking up the phone for 20 minutes, or going out with another couple on the weekend, whatever it is to you, creating a life where you feel supported and loved, and that you have people to turn to laugh with, to cry with, to share your life with. I was just going to say that there have been so many studies coming out in the last couple months, even post-COVID, saying that, all this isolation did so much damage to so many people's psyches and their mental health, and that community piece is just so incredibly important.
Absolutely. And, we always hear too, like, oh, genetics play a role. Well, my mom had high blood pressure. My mom's diabetic. My dad, has high cholesterol. So I'm just going to go on a pill because mine's approaching a high level. I think we're just here to say that genetics can play a role. Absolutely. But don't use that as an excuse to just pick the easy path, if you will, by taking a medication without trying first. If you're healthy and under doctor supervision, there's a lot you can do through your diet and through movement. And I also think part of the reason why people kind of use the genetics, unless you actually have genes that are triggering a certain chronic illness, sometimes it's the lifestyle. So maybe it's genetic because you grew up in a household where people ate a certain way, and maybe you didn't move your body and you had a lot of stress going on. And if you're doing that in your current life, then yes, you're going to pick up on those genetic, conditions, if you will, when really genes don't have anything to do with it. It's your lifestyle and your environment. So I would just encourage you to think about that if you're in that position.
And another thing to think about is your brain health. Your brain health is so important as you age. And I think there are things that we can all do to keep our brains sharp. And learning a new skill is a great example. I mean, it could be learning how to play an instrument, or playing games, playing, card games, crossword puzzles, and really anything, even some sort of movement. Like, I don't know why Tai Chi just popped in my head. Doing some sort of balancing movements where you're thinking about where your arms are and where your legs are. Or maybe it's pickleball. I mean, that's the hottest thing right now, right?
Totally.
Which is so fun, and I love it. But I see so many older people playing pickleball, and I'm like, wow, I want to be doing that when I'm 80 years old. And I think, just the scoring and all of it is so good for our brains.
For sure. And I think I look at a lot of elderly people and people maybe that are living alone, especially during COVID, and you're at home all the time, and you're maybe staring at your phone a lot, or just kind of numbing out and watching TV because you don't know what else to do. And so just do the crossword puzzle, do Wordle, right? Something every day where you're activating those neurons in your brain. And then too, from a movement standpoint, strength training is really important. And there's actually a recommendation out there, and I didn't even know this until I was studying for my national board exam, 2 times a week, strength training for everyone, all adults, up until you leave this earth if possible. Forever. All major muscle groups, twice a week. So that is a requirement. And it doesn't mean you're at the gym lifting these heavy weights. No, age appropriate, or even just body weight exercises. So, and now there's so many options to do this online, and you don't need to go to a gym necessarily, and you don't need to have fancy equipment either, but just really focusing on the muscle, especially for women out there, our bone health. I mean, as someone who has osteoporosis, this is something that I'm really dialed in on. And just don't take that for granted, because that's going to impact your quality of life if you're always falling later in life and breaking things. And
yeah, I would say for me, strength training has probably been my number one priority in working out for a long time now. And, I come from a family where my grandmother and my mom have had bone health issues, and I'm small framed. So I actually just had my DEXA scan yesterday, and I am in great shape. I'm not even close. My number is not even close to having osteopenia. So I was really pleased with that. But I think my vitamin D supplements are making a difference. And the calcium, magnesium that I take, and the strength training.
Absolutely. And, from a diet standpoint too, I think we talked a little bit about the detox. We are big, fans of it. Obviously, you've heard us talk about it a number of times on the show, but part of it is it's removing toxins in addition to your food that are just in the environment, things that have been building up in your system. And, Marnie and I studied under Dr. Cabral, and he has this book, The Rain Barrel Effect, and which I think kind of gets to that, I reached a certain age and now my body's falling apart and there's nothing I can do about it, right? But it's things are accumulating in your body, just like they would in a rain barrel, little by little by little over time, since you were born, literally since you were born, with medicines you were
Actually,
given,
before you were born.
Before you were born, but your mother, exactly. Yes. Thanks for correcting me. And so it's every little thing that you did that then is culminating into whatever you're experiencing today, whether it's, unwanted symptoms, could be everything, brain fog, right? And fatigue and mental exhaustion and bloating and, joints pains, all the things. And so it's going to take time to remove that and kind of empty the rain barrel over time. There's no perfect pill, but we do like the detox because of the very specific supplements that you're taking that will help with that phase 1 and phase 2 and getting rid of the toxins. And it's also just a good reset in a community format. We just finished our January detox, which went amazing. And so many new people that got to experience it this time. And their feedback has been just overwhelmingly so positive. So,
and I think when people hear the word detox, there are so many negative connotations around it, which really makes me sad, because the fact, and I've had so many people say to me, oh, well, our livers do that naturally. Our livers detox. And yes, our livers do that. But at some point, we have so much, being bombarded at us on a daily basis that, like Stephanie said, our bodies can't take it anymore. And that's when you start in with having some medical issues. So really, like Stephanie mentioned, being on top of your nutrition and your stress and your sleep and all of these basic things that we all know, but sometimes find hard to actually follow through with. And that's why, surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded, maybe doing a quarterly detox so that you get that reset and you have a chance to kind of step back from your normal routine. And I think one of the things that people really learn on our detox is like, they become more mindful. Like, oh, I didn't realize that when I'm mindlessly eating chips at 4:00, what that does to me for the rest of the day and the evening. Whereas if I'm having an afternoon smoothie and then a nourishing dinner, I feel great and I'm sleeping well and I feel good inside.
Yes. And I think that's the thing. So many people take their symptoms and think that they're normal because they've been experiencing them for years. Other people around them are experiencing them as well. And we're talking a lot of bloating and, gastro type issues, even joints and aches and pains and that brain fog and the fatigue and the inability to lose weight for women, especially around the belly. We shouldn't take any of those, and just excuse them and blame it on our age, right? It's like whatever symptom you are feeling, let's get to the root cause. And that's what we hope that this podcast does every single week when we drop episodes, on a variety of topics. But let's figure out why you're having those issues. And, Marnie's mentioned sleep and stress. And I do think those are almost sometimes more important than the food, because when you are well rested and you have enough energy and you're not stressed, you are going to eat better and you are going to prioritize movement. But without them, it's really hard because you're going to feel so good.
Right. You're going to feel, and that's the goal, right? We want to feel amazing and live a long time and do the things we love to do. Yeah. And really, it's never too late to get started, you guys. Like, it's just not. No matter how old you are or how you feel today, there is always a way to make changes. It's not too late. And we want you feeling vibrant. We want you feeling energized, and we want you feeling youthful, no matter what your age is.
Yes. And, we'd love to hear from you. Like, how are you feeling? What topics you want to hear more of, both from Marnie and ourselves and from guests. So we actually created a, input/feedback form, which is in the show notes to this episode and all episodes going forward. And you can click on it. It's really short. You can just spend 3 to 4 minutes. Give us your thoughts, because you guys are the reason why we're here and we show up each week to drop these episodes. And we want to hear from you. We want to know what you're maybe struggling with, or challenges, or just questions that you have. And then, of course, we have the health transformation audit, and you can sign up via our website and clicking the link in the show notes for that, and come on for 15 minutes of coaching from Marnie and myself.
Which we love doing those episodes. So please sign up. We want to talk with you. So, maybe think about committing to doing one thing today to jumpstart your journey. And that can be whatever is right for you in this moment. There's no right or wrong answer here. And it might be that you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but that's okay, because when we change our routine or do something new, sometimes it is uncomfortable, and getting comfortable in discomfort is never a bad thing.
Well, that's the only way to make change, because doing the same thing that you've been doing for a number of years, you're going to get the same results.
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
It is.
So, and feel free to reach out to us if you need help one-on-one. We're happy to do that. We love working with clients one-on-one. But again, just come up with a something for yourself to start today.
For me, I'm going to try 5 minutes of meditation, because my practice is still a little bit spotty right now. And what are you thinking, Marnie?
I am going to get outside today, even while it's snowing.
It's so pretty though.
It's so pretty. And
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that every day. And I have a busy day today, but I'm still gonna get there.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks everyone. We look forward to hearing from you, and have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Art of Living Well podcast. We are so grateful that you joined us today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or anyone else you think may benefit from this information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and tag the Art of Living Well podcast on social media.
If you want more inspiration in between episodes, you can find us on social media at theartofliving_well on Instagram and Facebook, where we will share snippets from our daily lives and our journey to living well.